Thank you, Dr. Nikhil. Thank you. I, on behalf of Tirthankar Mahavir University, welcome Professor Vasudev Das, the expert of today's session. It is very fortunate that Professor Das has given us the consent to give his thoughts and share his think tank with the faculty members and research scholars of the university about the leading change management, which is a buzzword nowadays, especially in institutions. You talk about higher education institution or you talk about any other organization. It's a buzzword now because every organization is striving for its better performance, is striving to move on to a next level wherein there is a need to bring the change in the system, the way the organizations have been working. And I'm sure that Professor Das, who has an extensive experience into organizational behavior and change management, he is the best person to share the nitty-gritties about the change management, how to lead the change management, especially when it comes to the higher education institution, whether it is in terms of the academic vertical or it is about the research vertical. So I wish all the best for the organizers of this event, and I'm pretty sure that after the session, our faculty members and research scholars will have a good takeaway from this session. Thank you all and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your motivating and inspirational words for our students and faculty members. Before starting this session, I just want to introduce Dr. Das with all the present dignitaries as well as research scholars and faculty members. Dr. Das holds a PhD degree in Applied Management and Decision Sciences from Wadler University, Minneapolis, United States of America. It is in the top 12% university in the world. Dr. Das is a consummate scholar practitioner of leadership and organizational change. He has authored more than 35 research publications in International Journal of Repute. Dr. Das is invited to present at major international conferences across the globe on a regular basis. He frequently traveled University of North Carolina, United States of America, University of South Mississippi, Long Beach, United States of America, All India Institute of Medical Science, New Delhi, and many more, where he given their lectures for motivating and for inspirational words to academia and research. His recent best presentation, award-winning research presentation, was at the World Academy of Science, Engineering and Technology Conference at London, a sonic therapeutic intervention for prevention financial fraud. Hope this valuable talk will be helpful for everyone present over here. Now I request Dr. Das, please start your session with your words.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the grand efforts of Tirthankar University management for giving me the chance to come to have your association this afternoon. So let me quickly share my screen so that we can start from there. What is this?
Dr. Nikhil, you need to give him the sharing rights.
Okay, sir.
Give him the sharing rights, only then Dr. Das would be
already given.
Okay.
कहाँ पे आना है आपको? ओह ठीक है, तो मैं वहीं पे रहूँगा. ठीक.
Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah, it's visible for everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. So our topic of discussion this afternoon is leading change for higher performance in academia and research. An introduction and background to this topic. As we all know, change is something that is all pervasive in our society. Some of the change initiatives are natural and some are man-made. Because change is so sporadic, especially in the 21st century, leading change strategies in academia must evolve strategies to be able to sustain high performance oriented activities to deal with the emerging change scenarios in academia and in the global village. We are witnesses to the devastations or the negative changes that were caused by COVID. And we all had suffered the consequences of that. The world is constantly changing. And so when we expect change that is rooted in disease, we understand that this type of change patterns are completely beyond our control. All we can do is to be able to see how we survive and move on. So the COVID had actually impacted on academic performance and especially in research, because a lot of students and even researchers, they have to go on a hiatus, a break. And so a number of students and researchers have been kept behind because of COVID. So yeah, that's a problem, because each time we want to make a presentation, especially in academia, or want to conduct a research, want to share ideas, the first question that comes to mind is, what is the problem you're trying to address? So is there any problem with what you're going to discuss about? Yeah, there is a problem. Change is constantly going on. The world and the people of the world are constantly undergoing change. And therefore, we find even individually from childhood to adulthood, we have undergone some changes. Our climate situation is there, but the important point is that the researchers or members of the Ivory Coast, they develop strategies to be able to create a positive change, and so that activities could still be going on. So Quarters 2012 and HIATS 2006 outcome models actually had facilitated a lot of positive change in individuals and organizations. By the implementation of these two models, a lot of organizations had achieved their goals. So I utilized Kotta's 8-step leading change model and HIATS 5-step change strategy in fostering high performance in this very presentation. Definition of concepts. Performance implies accomplished tasks based on well-defined standards. Performance basically is that we set some goals, in some cases stretched goals, high-profile goals. Now, performance means what we are able to actually achieve, not necessarily our stretched goals. So, sonic therapeutic intervention involves recapitulatory self-administration of specific transcendental sound vibrations that facilitate a positive change. I made a reference to one of the recent works I had published in 2021 and Prabhupada database 2020. The specific transcendental sound vibrations that will be utilized or will be referred to in this very presentation is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So one will wonder, what has this to do with change? So we will get to see to that as we move on. Purpose statement. Grounded in Quarters 2012 leading change and HIATS 2006 outcome models, I explored leading change for higher performance in academia and research. Quarters and HIATS change models or frameworks provide an understanding. I mean, why I chose these two frameworks, or why I choose these two models as my concept of framework, is because they provide a model, or they provide an understanding on the value of leading change for higher educational achievement or higher performance in academia and research. So what is the problem? Many change initiatives for positive transformations have failed. In fact, Carter, in his 2007 publication in the Howard Business Review, I mentioned that, Carter's very first publication of his research in the Howard Business Review of 2007, he brought to bear how in his deliberations, in his research deliberations, he discovered that so many multinational corporations, initiatives of multinational corporations had failed. And he gave reasons for that. One, not establishing a high sense of urgency. Two, not creating a high guiding correlation. Three, not generating a guiding vision, a vision and strategy. And on that communication of the change vision. Normally, when we have a change initiative, we basically have to do a lot of things to be able to put it so that people will buy in our initiative. Now, according to Carter basically, some of you know, he is Howard Howard University, a professor emeritus. So Carter mentioned that he discovered 8 factors that militate against change, the successful implementation of change initiatives. So additionally, not dislodging resistors to the change. Each time we initiate a change, whether it is an individual change or a collective change or organizational change, there are bound to be resistors. So not dislodging resistors to the change could be an impediment to the successful implementation of that change strategy. Not planning and creating short-term wins. This implies that, each time we attain some success in our change initiative, we should celebrate. And this also keeps the people who are working with us, it gives them a high spirit of motivation, because when we celebrate our successes, it gives people who are close to us, and even people who are not close to us, it gives them a better sense of belonging and a sense of identification with the cause that they are identifying with. Premature victory declarations and not anchoring change on organizational culture are inhibitory to successful change implementation. So I made a reference to Carter's very works, 2014, 2012, and my own publication, my own research publication in the Journal of Leadership and Management, 2019. Using time-tested leading change and outcome models to enhance high performance in academia and research becomes imperative. Now, what is this all talked about hardcore change model? Now, hardcore change model is a five-step approach to organizing change, personal change, and organizational change to be able to achieve the desired goals. So, ALCA, ALCA stands for awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of the need. The person who is initiating the change and those who are participating in the change, they must have awareness of the need. Is there a need for the change? Then they should be aware of. And if there is a need for the change, if they are enlightened about the need for the change, that could actually help to motivate them and inspire them to even let other people become part and parcel of the change process. Desire. That should be that desire to support and participate in the change. And this also implies an individual change. For instance, if someone decides to go to do a postdoctoral study, or someone decides to go to college, he or she has initiated a change. Now, not everyone who goes to college is able to go through with the system. Some people, they drop out. Even some people in the research projects, in postdoctoral research or doctoral programs, they fall off. So that desire, we should have a burning desire to support what we have initiated in our lives, or what we initiated and other people are participating in our own organizations. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of how to support the change process. If we have fundamental knowledge or basic knowledge and expansive overview of what is our goal in the change initiative, is people will better understand what they are pursuing, and they will be able to appreciate, or they will love to be participants in the change process if what we are advocating is to their appeal. Now, we should also have, the change initiator must also have ability.
People are born with creativity, that is right.
Ability to do what? Ability to foster required skills and behavior implementation. And then the last one, which is R, is reinforcement. Reinforcement is required because we need sustainability in our change initiatives. Because as Kota had mentioned in his research, not all change initiatives become successful. And so in most cases, they lack reinforcement. Reinforcement is so important that without reinforcement, it's just like we have to do embark on individual projects, but we get ourselves reinforced all the time either by superiors, by our mentors, or by family members, or by loved ones who are constantly telling us, you make sure you finish. It's like someone who's doing a doctoral program or doing a research. And this is going to bring a pride to the family, or to loved ones, to friends. And so when your friends meet you or they communicate with you, they're asking you, so when are you going to finish a program? When are you going to finish a research? So this gives the person who is on the initiative program a sense of that loving tension that is burning out from his loved ones, that they want to see him come through of this very process, of this very initiative, so that they can all participate in celebrating the ultimate win. So next, Kota's eight steps leading change model. So according to Kota, and by the way, Kota leading change by Kota, that was a very amazing bestseller book, because it really received the best reputation in the publishing industry at the time. So the first principle, or the first step in Kota's 8 steps leading change model, is to create a sense of urgency. In other words, I call it a sense of an emergency consciousness. You see, when we have some crisis, say there is a war, or there is a flood, or there is something that, that awakens your dexterity, or awakens your emergency consciousness, you always want to be alert, and you want to see that you get through the whole stuff on time. So for us to be able to sustain or even bring people in to be able to create a sense of initiative, or an initiative for a positive change in our organizations, or in our families, or in our personal lives, we need to see that very issue as with a sense of urgency. We need to get it right done right now. And without that sense of urgency, there is that the opposite of it is like a difficult approach to to duty. We keep like procrastinating. We're feeling uninterested, and even to be able to execute what we are planning, and that basically inhibits our sense of leading that change initiative. Once the a sense of emergency has been created, and the change initiative has been put in place, form a powerful guiding coalition. Because one head cannot really make a forest, or one tree cannot make a forest, as the adage goes. And therefore, we need many people, as much as possible, to be involved in our change initiatives. And not just many people, people who have specialties in the very issue at task or at stake. Create a vision. If we create a vision, that will help to channel everyone's energy towards working for the fulfillment of that vision. Communicate that vision. One of the problems that got identified is under communication of the vision of the change initiative. And so we have to be in a mood of, like, the journalists do, they put up the advertisements here and there. And so we have to make people aware of what we are pursuing, or those interested groups, the stakeholders. We have to let them understand with a proper communication. In fact, without communication, most of the things that we need to get done cannot be done, not to speak of change initiative, because change initiatives are such challenging tasks that most people don't want to go away from their status quo. And therefore, we need to communicate the vision properly. Empower others to act on the vision. Now, empowerment is what helps in creating the sustainability of any project. If we have to do things all by ourselves, if even we have the best expertise in the field, we will get bogged down. And therefore, it is important that in this very change initiative, we create an avenue where other people could be empowered. We train other people, and then we empower them to do, to embark on essential projects, essential activities, or essential things that could help to be help us to achieve the goal within a limited time frame. Plan for and create short-term wins. When we are engaged in a change initiative, in a change process, the plan should be also that we create short-term wins. It's not that we are going to wait until 10 years time when we achieve the ultimate goal, or 5 years time when we achieve the ultimate goal. We have to break down the whole process in such a way that we have short-term wins every here and then, so that it keeps the people who are involved in the change process very vibrant. And that's why in the schools and colleges, there are examinations for semester examinations. And then, this help to consolidate the academic efforts of the students and the teachers. And then it gears them towards the ultimate goal of the degree program, achievement, or whatever. Now, consolidate, number 7, consolidate and create more change. Now, we should not be satisfied with what we have achieved, with what wins we have achieved, or whatever declarations we have made in terms of our wins. We should not be satisfied with that. We should be eager to create more change and more wins, so as to be able to allow us a chance to create more avenues where people can become participants in the change and spread that good message to all and sundry. The last important thing here in Carter's 8 steps leading change model is that whatever we are doing, we have to anchor that on the mandate of the institution, or on the grand norms of the institution. Because we can't go outside of the grand norms, we can't go outside of the constitution of the institution. We can't even go outside of the constitution of our, say the country. So everything that we're doing, we have to anchor it on the institution's constitution or the country's constitution. Now, the methodology of design. Basically, we have 3 methods of acquiring practical and theoretical knowledge in research. And one of those methods is qualitative method. And another method is quantitative method. Now, the defect with qualitative method is that, in general, you cannot really generalize your results. Whereas in quantitative, it's more experimental and more scientific, and so you can generalize your results. And then the third method is mixed methods. And these are the three major methods of research. And what we are embarking on here in this study is qualitative method. We are employing qualitative method in this very documentary review. Now, a lot of challenges are there for anyone who is in academia. And one of those things that people tend to relegate to the background often at times is their self-care. And sometimes they work. I remember a case of one girl. She had finished, she's from Canada. And she had approached me for advice because the older sister just graduated from medical school, and the older sister has been pushing her to go to medical school. In America, you have to get a first degree in any other field before you go to medical school. Just like even in law, you have to get a first degree in another field before you go to law school. So this girl, she already got in a master's, but then his sister was pushing for her to go to a medical school. So one of the boys, one of the tenants who was living in the house, is a student, and he was under my care. And so this boy, she had approached this boy for advice. The boy said, "Well, what do I know? I'm just a student. I don't know anything about it. But you can ask Vasudev Das. He's very helpful to many of us in terms of our academic needs and advice." So she had approached me, and her major concern is that, she has some bad health. But when I examined the situation properly, we were able to diagnose that he's not having regular meals. And so you don't expect to be healthy when you don't have regular meals. And this is one loophole in a number of students' lives. They tend to be too much carried away, a number of researchers' wives. I mean, I remember some professor mentioned when she was doing her doctorate, she couldn't even bathe for a couple of days because she was just, logged into the system of researching and, no bathing, sometimes no eating. So this creates a setback in the health system of the individual. And therefore, a researcher's self-care, mental and physical health, is a requisite for higher performance. If we are having depression, we're having